Well, if you're like me, you like your storage on racks. And racks can be pretty expensive. So I'm going to show you a way that you can get things very, very inexpensively and fix them up and make them look nice. Because that's the whole idea of my channel, surviving but saving money too. When we come back, we're going to restore this rack. Alright, so I got this from a friend who has a storage locker business, and they also have a little thrift store. And it ran me about 20 bucks. And I have this on my hand now, so if it gets shaky, you'll understand, but it's too big to do on a tripod. As you can tell here, I already painted the middle counter there. It's not, it wasn't too bad, it was just kind of scratched up and rusted. And so I just lightly sanded it and put a very light coat of green paint on it just to see what it would look like. He had 2 extra pieces of wood for the shelving, so we're going to be cutting those down to fit. And I'm going to show you what it looks like up close, if you can see the top here. You see all that rust? That's kind of like what this level was. It's kind of beat up. And it's kind of stale looking and old. So if you don't want to put something like this in your storeroom and you want to make it look nice, the first thing you're going to have to do is kind of rough up the paint. And I have some sandpaper. So I'm just going to rough it up. I'm not going to try to remove all the rust or everything. We're just going to put a coat of paint on it and then a clear coat on it. And let you see what it looks like when that's done. And then we're going to cut down these pieces of wood that he had that were extras for shelving racks. And this thing is sturdy, by the way. Let me just show you up here. This is a heavy-duty unit. This is not light junk. You know, this is a pretty heavy-duty unit. And really where this is going is my kind of overflow storeroom now, because my first storeroom's full. Doing YouTube, you end up with a lot of samples and stuff, and I want to make sure that I can access them and keep them in the rotation on the channel so you can see how they work and how they hold up. So let me get to roughing this up with some sandpaper and bring you back when that's going on. Alright, so we're going to start right on the side here. By the way, this paint, whatever it is coming off real easy. I did up top here, I'll show you that in a sec. And the rust just literally came right off. I'm just using some of this 3M, kind of, what is this, 120 grit? 220 grit sandpaper. And really, I don't want to take the old paint off. All I really want to do is rough it up so that the new paint sticks to it. Then I'm going to kind of go over it with some acetone on a paper towel. And once this is done, because this is going to take a while, I'll bring you back once it's all finished. Once this is done, we'll go through the way I do painting, especially with the Krylon stuff that doesn't seem to stick very well when you don't use it right. As you can tell, let me bring you up a little closer. I'm in the light here. We're not really taking the paint off. Maybe in some areas we are. That's the top. See the difference compared to this? See how easily that rust is coming off. So I'm going to rough this whole thing up. There's quite a bit to be roughed up. And I'll bring you back when it's time to start spraying paint. So about a half an hour I got everything roughed up, as you can tell by the bare metal in some areas. Really my goal was to take off any dirt, old paint like that. Now, of course, we're not going to paint over that, so I'm going to just take some acetone and dump it on a rag and really just wipe everything down. Now, I'm probably going to get it on the paint that I did already, but that's okay. That was really just more of I wanted to see how it would look. Once you do that, you see what you're getting off there. And there you go. So I'm going to wipe this whole thing down. Let me give you a look at it back up a little bit, and you can see. I'm going to wipe it all down, all through here and along this area. Get that off the top. And you can see where it took up rust. Got a whole bunch of rust off that. So we're going to wipe it all down with acetone. I'm going to get it as clean as I possibly can. Then I'm going to hit it with paint. And then we're going to cut the pieces of wood to fit. And should be good to go. We'll, next after that, we'll be showing you it in the room all stocked up. So give me a little bit to tear off all the debris and rust and everything with a little bit of acetone, and we'll come back for the painting. Alright, so it's all been wiped down with acetone. Every inch of that's been wiped down. Got a lot of the old green paint off it, and a lot of rust. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. Then we're going to bring you in a little bit, and I'll do little parts of painting where you can kind of watch. I don't want to get too much paint blowing back on the lens, and you never know how the wind is out here. So I'm not going to do too many videos of it being painted, but you get the idea. So we are going to let it dry for a bit, and I'll bring you back when we start painting. Alright, so first we're going to do the back. I just chose this area because it gives you a nice wide area of what we're doing. Now the big trick with using this stuff is to shake it well. Shake this for at least a minute, up and down every way you can. And then when you're done shaking it, shake it a little bit more. You want that ball to be flying around freely in there. Sometimes I've seen people do this, and they'll do this, and okay, that's good, and then they'll spray it, and it's splotchy and messy. You want this to come out very smooth, and you want to put on very thin layers. Then when it's all done, and you've got a bunch of layers on it, you can put your clear coat on. And even if it's a flat clear coat, that will hold up a very, very long time. Now again, I'm not too worried if this gets a few scratches on it. But I would like it to look nice when I put it in my little secondary overflow storeroom there, our second bedroom, that's slowly being taken over with stuff. Alright, so let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's good. I don't know if you can see that. That's good. So I'm just going to give it a nice light coating along here. I did get some of the paint off the back when I was doing this because I was taking the acetone near it. You don't have to cover everything so dark, you know, just a light starting coat. And then you can come back. So this is going to probably be about 3 or 4 coats. I'm not going to go too crazy with it because, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. But when you look what it looked like before, and even this little area where I've worked over, what it looks like now, big difference. And it cost me, what, 20 bucks and a couple cans of paint and a little bit of time. Can't beat it. So, let me finish this side up, and I'll show you when I head to the front, and we'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll go to the clear coat. Alright, so I said I'd bring you back when I was painting the front. Oops, I got a little carried away. I just kept painting. Anyway, let me give you a close-up of it. Just a look at it. Came out really good. There's some spots where it was a little heavier than others, so they look a little different colored. But this is about 4 coats now. And look how nice the bottom looks. It's all uniform and clean. Let's go around the front. Keep kicking the bottom of this thing. There we go. So you see, that looks really, really nice. I'm sure glad this camera has a stabilizer in it because I'm really not doing a good job of holding it stable. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you know, if aesthetics don't matter to you, something like this is easy enough to do on your own, you know, and just buy it cheap and throw it in your room and you're done. But I kind of wanted it to look nice. So next up, we're going to cut the pieces of wood to fit. Now, I've already fit the top piece. It just hangs over this way. So I drew a black line on it. And we're just going to cut that and make that even. I got myself a saw, an electric saw. And we're just going to cut that to fit it. And I'll probably put something down each tube so it's sturdy up there and doesn't bounce around. And the bottom one I'm going to cut so it fits right between those 2 little bars there. See, there and there. It's just going to fit right in the middle. So, let me put all this stuff down and we'll show you what that looks like once they're cut and in place. Let me get this out of the way and I'll bring you back. Alright, so we cut them down. That was very simple. I had a little electric saw there. I was able to cut them right down to size. The edge on that one's a little rough, but it's the bottom and you'll never see it. Had to trim it in a little bit. The other one's perfect. And let's take a look at this before I put clear coat on it. So there it is, all set up. It is kind of a overcast day, but it's not rainy, so it is dried already. It is dry out here in the desert no matter what. You know, even when it's kind of high humidity, paint dries quick. So I'm going to hit that with some clear coat and let that sit out here about another hour and then bring it in. And then, through the magic of editing, tomorrow you will see what this looks like in my secondary storeroom with a lot of new gear on it and a lot less stuff on the floor, because it was really starting to, you know, there was just stuff going out and out and out on the floor more and more. It was starting to get crazy in there. So let me clear coat it, and I'll show you how I do that in a second here. Now I got this stuff here. This is satin crystal clear. I'm not going to put it on too heavily because I don't want it to be shiny. But again, with this, it says it dries in 10 minutes. I'm going to shake it up really, really good. And we're just going to give this a light coat where there's going to be wear. You know, like I'm going to put stuff here. So, of course, I don't want it to get all scratched up every time I put something down. So, I've shook this up pretty good. I'm going to give it a little bit of a final shaking. And you can tell when that ball is free. You know, when the stuff isn't all bogged together in there. Now, from about this far away, just like this. Just a light dusting. Now this is blowing this way. Let me move my camera so you can see. Because now that I have a nice camera, I don't want to get it all over the lens. Alright. Need just a light little dusting on everything. And we'll go over this, let it sit, and I'll bring you back when that's done. You'll see what it looks like. And then I'm going to put it away for the night, and we'll see it tomorrow when it's in my room all set up. Alright, so this is kind of my overflow room. You guys have seen my storeroom in earlier videos, but this is kind of the overflow room where a lot of the YouTube gear ends up. Those are some of our go bags over there for CERT and for my ham radio club. I got my old computer right there. You guys watching my older videos, that was it until this last week. That was the old computer that I did the videos on. Took forever too. Anyway, as you can tell here, I'm going to try to pan around here without too much jerkiness. You can see I got a lot of stuff here. Let me move you up a little bit. Believe it or not, the top thing is all fireworks, which I'm probably going to get rid of a lot of. Fireworks are legal here, and we have a place to set them off. But, yeah, I don't really set them off that much anymore. And they're kind of left over, so they're probably going to go. We're going to clean up a lot of this stuff here. I have a little cat carrier down at the bottom there by that camo bag down there. So that's going to go out to the garage with the other cat carriers. And we're going to organize all this, and that's where the rack's going to go. The rack's going to go over here. And all this stuff, or a lot of it, is going to go on that rack, as well as up top there where the fireworks are. We're going to get rid of that stuff and organize it and make it look pretty. So let me go drag in the shelf in the rack here now that it's dried. It came out really nice. I'll give you a look at it before we load it up and show you what we got. Well, there you go. It's all finished. Take a look down there. Take a look over here. All that stuff that was on the floor over here is no longer. Got all the cat food organized. That's just cat food that I have stored in Mylar bags for the kitties. Got the bug out bags. Those are really comms, go gear type stuff for CERT or for ham radio call out stuff. My bug out bags are in the other room. Same idea really, just extra gear that I reposition. Got my tents up top there, spot for all my O-light holders, boxes. Over here on this side, I got a full queen size bed down there, that blow up thing down there. And I got some sleeping bags and a couple of air mattresses at the bottom. Heater, some radio gear. This is all my homemade MRE stuff. This is my little washer dryer, really spin dryer, but it is a clothes washer. And there's all my freeze-dried entrees. We saw that the other day. Solar panel for the solar charger, for the solar bank. Little, lots of little stuff. Stoves on the end there. I've got my Surveyor 123 on the end. And up top here, I've got my water distiller. A couple of tents and a couple of sleeping pads. My water distiller, a little coffee maker there. What's in the middle? Oh yeah, first aid bag and my CERT bag with all my medical gear in it. So, all in all, there it is. All done, finally. Took a lot of work, from the first video that I showed you today. Again, this is the next day on this video. Probably took me about an hour to get everything organized and set up. But it looks really nice. I want to take you inside really quick to look at the paint. The paint came out awesome. I don't know if you can see how that perfect OD green look to it really came out good. So, a little bit of time and very little money and a little bit of effort, you can really get a good result. And for those of you who have a storeroom, you might just be getting started. In my other storeroom, of course, I have tons and tons of racks and everything all, heavy duty. But if you're just getting started, something like this is awesome for you to really get going on your first storeroom, your first little place where you could store food. I mean, that could easily be 2 racks full of food there just as well for someone who's just getting started out. So, anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and don't forget to share. Share these ideas with anybody, maybe spark a little interest in getting them prepared. Don't forget to check out our Amazon link down below as well. If you click on that link, even if there's nothing that you want to buy in the link itself, if you just shop normally, it really helps out the channel. Don't forget to check out our O-light link and our Thrive Life link if you're interested in getting started in some Thrive Life freeze-dried food. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.